If you've just bought a drone, you might be breaking the rules. So you just got your first drone and you just need to make sure that you're following all the rules. Now you can go onto the CAA website, I'll put the link in the description, and you can find out all the fine details regarding these. I just want to give you an overview of just a few. So the first one is, when you first get your drone, make sure you get flyer ID. Now that's a theory test to make sure you're competent in flying a drone. It gives you different scenarios and different questions just to make sure you've got a good understanding before you take flight. Now with that, it used to be 250 grams, which this is, or more, but now they've dropped it to 100 grams. So if you've got a drone that's 100 grams or more, you do need to do the flyer ID. Now the next one is the operator ID. Now you may notice, I'll try and cover some of it up, but on the side of my drone there's a little sticker with a number on it. That is your operator ID. Now that goes on every drone you have. It basically links it to you. And that is for any drone 100 grams with a camera, or any sort of drone that's 250 grams, regardless if it's got a camera or not. You need to get operator ID. Now with operator ID, you get it once. Say if you've got 2 drones, 4 drones, 10 drones, you just put the same number on all drones. It basically links it to you, and it costs, at the time of recording, £12.34. And that's how much it costs per year. And you just register online and they'll give you a number. You can get stickers on eBay. So if you go on eBay and give them your number, they can do you some stickers. Basically all I've done is got a bit of paper, printed out my number very sort of small, and then just put it on with some basically very strong sticky tape, and that hasn't come off. That's been on since I first got this drone. I've had it quite some time. So that's another option if you don't want to pay out £5 or whatever it is for the stickers. Now the next one is this. So VLOS, that stands for visual line of sight. That basically means your eye on the drone at all times. Now I know when you've seen the commercials or the adverts or little bits on YouTube or whatever for the RC2 controller, and it states that it can sort of do it up to 20 kilometers. That doesn't mean you can go 20 kilometers unless you've got someone further away that can keep an eye on it and tell you exactly how it's going. You need visual line of sight at all times. So be safe. Make sure when you're flying it, you can sort of see it at all times. Don't go really, really far. Don't be going behind buildings or anything, because as soon as you can't see it, it could lose signal. Anything could happen with it, and obviously it could drop out of the sky. Something can hit the propellers, like the Mini 5 Pro. When the propellers are hit, it basically shuts off and drops. So if it goes behind something and you can't see it and a bird ends up sort of hitting it, it could fall, it could hit someone, and obviously then it's down to you, the responsible drone pilot. But yeah, just make sure you see that drone at all times. So the next one is this. Right, so obviously when you get your drone, you can get various packages. Now you can get the motion controller and the goggles. Now obviously when you've got motion controller and those goggles on, you can't see where the drone is. You can see the camera and you can see the view from the camera, but you can't see your surroundings, you can't see the drone, you can't see if anybody's coming anywhere near you. So you do need someone with you at all times. Now obviously, as I say, you've got the goggles on, you can't see anything apart from the drone's view. Anything could happen, but this also means if you're looking at the screen, if you've got the RC2 controller and you're looking down at that screen all the time when you're flying, you're not visual line of sight, you're just looking down all the time going, oh, well, I'll do this, I'll do that, and you're not paying attention up there, you need a spotter for that as well. If you just sort of, if you've got line of sight and you just look down to make sure you've got sort of the angle you want and you're sort of doing that, that's okay, you can do that because you just, so it's like a split second or a couple of seconds. But if you're permanently looking at the screen and flying, then you need someone with you that can keep an eye on the drone at all times. So obviously maintain visual line of sight. And the next one is this. So another safety is drone maps, no-fly zones. Where can you fly? Where can't you fly? Now we will put a link in the description for drone maps. I mean, there's quite a few around there, but I'll put a link in the one I use for the drone map. Now with that one, it is ideal if you're thinking of going out and flying your drone in a certain area. You load up this website, find exactly where you're going to fly, and it'll tell you exactly where you can fly, where you can't. There'll be yellow circles, there'll be red circles. Some of them are caution, where you can fly around, but you might get people coming up to you and saying what you're doing. If you're sort of flying around certain buildings, they might come up and ask you questions. If it's like airports, hospitals, military bases or anything like that, that'll be in red. You cannot fly over those. You need to keep a distance. I think it's 3 kilometers distance. Check the website though for the exact measurements or distances. I think it's 3 kilometers away from those sort of places. So that'll show you them. There are temporary no-fly zones. Now you might have seen them if you've seen a drone map. They might pop up for like 1 day in the week where Amazon are flying their drones and just doing some testing. So you might get some temporary red ones that won't always be there. When you click on them, as I say, it'll tell you what the situation is regarding that. It'll also tell you the duration of that. So it might just say Friday, 24 hours. For the entire day of Friday, you can't fly here, but every other day it'll be fine. Like where I am now, it's every now and then there's a red circle going over that for the Amazon deliveries or the testing of the Amazon deliveries. So sometimes I can't come here, and then there's other ones where I can't go over to Sixfields where I've flown before. So yeah, so you need to make sure you know exactly where to fly, because if you're flying somewhere you shouldn't be, then you never know what will happen. The police will come and possibly take your drone off you, or who knows. But just make sure that you're flying safe and you just do know when and where to fly. So when it comes to night flights, you need to make sure your drone can have an emitting LED at all times. Now with the Mini 5 Pro at the back of here, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, you have these little LEDs here. They flash green when you are flying. Now the thing with that is you can fly it at night if you want to. You can fly it all over the place, but you can't record. The reason being, as soon as you push record, these LEDs turn off completely. And the rules state you need a light flashing at all times. So if you just want to fly around and look and you don't want to record, then that's fine. As long as these green little lights are flashing, you can fly around. As long as you've got visual line of sight of it, you can fly around. But as soon as you push that record button, these lights go off, and that's against the rules, so you can't actually do that. The other thing is, people might tell you, all you need to do is get a little strobe light. They're only about 8 grams or 5 grams or something. You can stick it on the top or the bottom or on the back of the battery, and that'll be flashing all the time. The problem with that is it's going to add weight to this and it will push it into the next class. So you can't do that either. Or if you do, you need to make sure you put it into the next class. So you can't really do that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, in the near future, there will be some sort of an update that will have these an option to turn these on permanently, because that would be a lot easier. But the problem with that is, say if you're flying and you're going sort of over water or close to water, or you're going near a building, if these are flashing, the reflection of that light's going to be flashing in your footage. So that's what people don't want. That's the reason why they go out, so there's no reflection when you're filming. But obviously for a beginner or something like that, if you're just flying forward and you're not too bothered about flashing or it doesn't show in your footage, it would be good to have the option in the Fly app to be able to turn this on or off or have it permanently. But at the moment, DJI haven't done that, and I'm sure it's an easy fix. So that's night flight. So when it comes to remote ID, if you've got a UK class of drone, you need to have the remote ID active. Now, remote ID basically is something that tells people where you are. It'll map exactly where you are. It'll tell your information, so they'll know exactly who owns a drone, and it'll show what your flight path is. So if you're flying around and you think, well, no one's around, no one's watching, I'll go and fly over some buildings and have a bit of a mess around and annoy some people, you can fly over there. And obviously, if for some reason someone calls the police and you get caught, they can see exactly where you've flown. There's no way around it. I mean, at the end of the day, they can see your flight footage if they've got your drone anyway. But with that, they can do it remotely. So they can say, right, okay, there's someone in this postcode area flying a drone. They'll find out who it is. They'll see what your flight path is. They'll see you've been over some neighborhood terrorizing people. And then you can get prosecuted for that. So yeah, so with the remote ID, you just need to be careful where you are, but that does need to be switched on, as I say, if you've got a UK class drone. If you've got a C class, like I've got here with the Mini 5 Pro, you can fly that perfectly fine. You don't need to do remote ID, but you will have to turn it on the 1st of January 2028. It is mandatory on all drones, regardless of what you've got. Remote ID needs to be switched on. If you need further information on that, check out the link in the description and it'll give you a lot more information regarding the remote ID. Right, okay, and the next one is this. So next one is UK markings or class markings. Now when you look at your drone, you might have a 0 or C0, C1, C2 and the likes. That's sort of the old classification. They're trying to bring in the new UK, UK0, UK1, UK2 and so forth. Now if you have a drone that has a C0, C1 or C2 upwards, don't worry about it. You can still fly your drone as if it's a UK marking up until the 31st of December 2027. Once it gets past that date, you will need to take that sticker off your drone, the C0, C1, C2 sticker, and change it for a UK marking, UK0, UK1 and so forth. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to happen. I don't know if DJI themselves are going to be sending out stickers or give you the opportunity to sort of buy a sticker off their website so you can sort of update your drone to the new UK class system. But I'm sure there'll be an update in the near future when it gets near to that date. So that is the class marking. So don't worry if you've got a C marking. You can still fly your drone as if it's a UK marking up until that date. So last but no means least, it's all to do with flying around people. Now there's 3 classifications here. You've got A1, A2 and A3. Now A1 is for lighter drones, A2 is for your medium-sized drones, and A3 is to do with the larger sized drones. Now, as you can see on the screen now, this is the A1. So this is to do with your light drones, anything that's under 250 grams or has a classification of UK0 or UK1. This means you can fly over people, but you can't fly over crowds. Now the A2 is for your medium-sized drones or your UK2 or C2 if you've still got the old classification. This is for those drones. Now for those, you need to make sure that you're flying at least a distance of 30 meters away from people. If you've got an A2 certificate of competence, that means you can fly up to 5 meters away from people because obviously you know what you're doing. So there's that. Then A3 is your heavier drones. Now when it comes to your heavy drones, as you can see, that's for over 250 grams, or if it's got no markings or it's a legacy drone, then that means that you can't fly within 150 meters of parks, housing, or any sort of built up areas. So you need to make sure you keep a good distance with those larger drones away from those particular buildings. So I hope this has helped you if you're just starting out and you don't really know what you should be doing. You've just bought a drone and you think you can just switch it on and get flying. There are rules you need to follow. So just to recap, flyer ID, operator ID, it only costs you £12.34 for a full year. It's basically £1 a month. And it just means that obviously everything's registered and you're legal. So get those straight away as soon as you get your drone. Visual line of sight is always a bonus. Make sure you can see it at all times. Don't sort of start flying it and then go,
"Yeah, Dave, yeah, nice one. Should we go to the pub on Friday? Maybe we should do. Oh no, it's crashed."
So you need to make sure you can see it at all times because you need to make sure that you're in control at all times. If for some reason, as I say, you're looking at your screen all the time, you need Dave or whoever you bring with you to keep an eye. So Dave, keep an eye on that. And you can do the maneuvers you want to do and look at that while Dave's keeping an eye on it and say, right, whoa, get away from that. Also, if you're wearing goggles and you've got the motion controller, you need someone with you as well. Night flight, if you've got a drone that flashes all the time, even when it's recording, then yeah, get out there and do your night flight. That's not a problem. If you've got the Mini 5 Pro, where as soon as you hit record, it turns off, then that doesn't comply with the rules whatsoever. If you just want to fly around in the night and not record, and those green ones are flashing, that's perfectly fine to do so. But as soon as you, as I say, as soon as you hit that record button, it switches them off. So it's against the rules. So don't do it. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed that. It's just for beginners, this, just to make sure you comply with everything and you sort of know exactly what you should be doing as soon as you bought a drone. You can't just get it from Argos or wherever you're buying it from, or DJI, and then yeah, get it straight up in the air and flying it around. You need to make sure you comply with certain rules and regulations, and you're compliant in what you're doing and competent in what you're doing. So yeah, so if you've liked this video, hit like, comment below and let us know how you're getting on. If you've got any questions, let us know. If it's anything massively complex, I'll put a link below to the CAA website, and that'll tell you all the finer details and all the full regs and sort of rules and regulations to help you out there. But if it's something simple, ask us and I'll try and sort of answer as best I can. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps me massively. Pushes videos out there for cool people like you to watch, and I can get out here in the field in the beautiful weather and do these videos for you. So we're all doing the right thing and not being naughty boys or girls or them days. Anyway, take care of yourself and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.